Welcome to the month of water. In August, we are going to explore the element of water. In the previous month, in July, we've been exploring the element of earth. We begin with exploring the body. We did grounding, we explored stability, we explored nature, we explored responsibility, we explored limits. And we explored the simple fact that we are not only our minds or our ideas, but we are also living in a body and we are standing on a living earth. Earth with this gave us contact. It asked us to come down, to feel the ground, to honor the body, to accept reality, and to build the roots before we are trying to rise. And now with August, we are going to move into water. Water is a very different teacher, because while earth gives us form, water moves through form. While earth gives us structure, water teaches flow. Earth teaches us to stand, while water is teaching us how to feel. Earth asks, where is the ground? While water is asking, what is moving inside? So this month, we will begin to explore the emotional and energetic body. And don't think of emotions as drama or weakness or something that is embarrassing or inconvenient. We will explore emotions as a part of being alive, as inner movement, as it's even inside the name, motion, as information, as connection, as a language of the body, the heart, and the nervous system, and even a language of the soul. Water is connected to love, to relationship, to sensitivity, to intimacy, to grief, to softness, to longing, to tenderness, and to change. It is the element that flows between us, that creates relation. It's the look in someone's eyes, the feeling in the chest when we miss someone, the ache of being misunderstood, or the relief of being held, the warmth of kindness, or the pain of rejection. It's the quiet opening when we feel safe enough to be real. And water is not only outside of us, in rivers, in rains, in oceans, in springs. Water is inside us too. Our body is mainly water. Water is in our blood, in our tears, in our saliva, in all the fluids of the body. And these fluids are deeply linked to our emotions. In the subtle sense, our inner life is not dry and fixed, but it's always moving. We are not stone, even when we try to become stone, because many of us do try. Because feeling can be difficult. If earth brings us into the body, water brings us into everything that the body has been carrying emotionally. And this is why practice can be so powerful, because the emotional body is not separate from the physical body. We do not only feel emotions in abstract thoughts. We feel them in the throat, in the belly, in the chest, in the jaw, in the hips, in the skin, or in our breathing. Maybe you noticed fear is tightening, grief is sinking, love gives warmth, anger rises, shame contracts, joy expands, longing reaches for something, while safety softens. The body remembers. Sometimes a posture opens something we did not know that was closed. Sometimes a breath brings tears that we did not plan. Sometimes a movement shows us where we have been holding, defending, hiding, or protecting ourselves. And sometimes practice gives us the opposite. Not a dramatic emotional release, but like a very quiet return to ourselves. a little more space, a little more breathing, a little more kindness toward what is actually there. And this is why during the month of water, we will absolutely not leave the body behind. We will still practice physically, but the focus begins to shift. Because instead of only asking, what is the sensation in the body? We may also ask, what emotion is living here? What is moving beneath the surface? Where do I harden when I need to feel? Where do I float when I need support? Where do I clinch? Where do I freeze? Where do I flow naturally? Where do I need more softness? Or where do I need a clearer bank? Because water is beautiful, but water also needs relationship with form. A river without banks becomes a flood, just like a heart and a love without boundaries becomes exhaustion, just like emotions without awareness become chaos. But emotion with awareness becomes intelligence. And this is one of the important things that I want to explore in this month. The goal is not to become more emotional in an uncontrolled way. The goal is not to drown in every feeling. And the goal is also not to shut the feelings down. The goal is to learn how to feel without being destroyed by feeling. To let emotions move, but not rule blindly. To let tenderness exist, but not to become self-abandonment. To let love open us, but not makes us lose ourselves. To let grief be honored, but not become our whole identity. To let anger bring truth, but not turn into cruelty. And this is the main emotional practice. And this is also part of yoga. When we speak about water, we can naturally come close to ahimsa again, to non-harming. But while with earth, ahimsa asked us to honor the body and reduce unnecessary harm. With water, ahimsa asks something more subtle. Can I meet my inner life without violence? Can I stop attacking myself for feeling? Can I stop calling myself weak because I'm sensitive? Can I stop shaming myself for grief, for love, for fear, for needs, for sadness, for tenderness, or for longing? Many of us learned to treat emotions as problems. We learned to say, do not cry, do not need so much, do not be dramatic, do not be too sensitive, don't be angry, don't be afraid, or don't make others uncomfortable. And sometimes we absorb this so deeply that we become cruel towards our own hearts. We feel something, and immediately another voice comes in. This is stupid. I should be over this. I'm too much. I'm not strong enough. I'm embarrassing. I'm unlovable like this. But Ahimsa says no. Do not turn your own inner life into an enemy. This doesn't mean, of course, that every emotion is correct in the way that it interprets the reality. An emotion can be real without telling the whole truth, but it still deserves to be met without violence. If fear is present, we can listen. If sadness is present, we can listen. Even if jealousy is present, we can listen. Or if anger is present, we can listen. Not to obey blindly, but to listen. There is a difference. Water practice begins with the willingness to say, something is moving in me. Let me turn toward it with care. And then comes Satya, truthfulness. Satya is essential for water because emotions are often covered by other emotions. Did you notice that sometimes anger can cover grief? That sometimes control can actually cover fear? that sometimes being cold actually covers a deep longing, that sometimes pleasing covers the terror of being abandoned, or that sometimes numbness covers too much pain to feel. And sometimes I'm fine just means I do not feel safe enough to tell the truth. So water asks us for emotional honesty. This doesn't mean confession to everyone. It doesn't mean spilling our inner life into every room. It means honesty within ourselves. What am I really feeling? What is underneath this reaction? What did this touch in me? What am I pretending not to care about? Where am I saying yes while something in me is quietly saying no? Where am I saying no just because I'm afraid to open? Where have I confused peace with avoidance? Where have I confused love with attachment? Where have I confused strength with numbness? Satya in the emotional body can be very, very tender because often the truth is not neat and tidy. Sometimes we love someone and we are also hurt by them. Sometimes we want closeness and we are also afraid of it. Sometimes we are angry and somewhere we are still compassionate. Sometimes we need space, but we still care. Sometimes we are grateful and exhausted at the same time. Sometimes we are healing, but we are still not okay. Water doesn't move in straight lines, and emotions often does not either. This is why water also teaches us to hold complexity. Not everything has to be simplified immediately into one clean sentence. Sometimes the honest answer is part of me feels like this, and another part of me feels like that. I need time to understand what is moving here. And this is already practice. And then there is Swadhyaya, self study. Water is a beautiful doorway into self study because emotions show us our own patterns. How do I react when I feel rejected? What do I do when I feel unseen? Do I chase? Do I withdraw? Do I explain too much? Do I become cold? Do I attack? Do I disappear? Do I try to fix everything immediately? Do I become responsible for everyone's feelings? Do I expect others to read my mind? Do I flood people with emotions before I have understood them myself? Do I pretend that I have no needs? Do I use spirituality to make myself look calmer than I really am? And these questions are not at all for self blame, they are for learning. Because once we can see a pattern, we are no longer completely trapped inside it. Practice gives us a chance to pause, to breathe, a moment between a wave and the action. And in that moment, something new becomes possible. This is one of the most practical gifts of yoga for the emotional body. Not that we will never ever feel triggered again. Not that we become perfectly peaceful and float through relationships like someone enlightened. But that we begin to notice sooner. Oh, this is fear. Or this is my old protection. Or I'm about to close. I'm about to say something sharp because I feel vulnerable. Or I'm trying to unlove by abandoning myself. Or I'm pretending I do not care because caring feels too dangerous. And this noticing is precious because it gives us a choice. And choice is where freedom actually begins. Water is deeply connected to love. But love is a word that we are using so often in so many contexts that sometimes it loses its meaning. In this month, I would like to explore love not only as romance, not only as sweetness or affection, but as a living capacity, the capacity to connect, the capacity to care, the capacity to remain open without losing truth, the capacity to receive, the capacity to give without disappearing, the capacity to be touched by life. Because love is not only something that we feel towards another person, it is a way of being in relationship with existence, with the body, with animals, with plants, with people, with students, with friends, with partners, with communities, and even with the river, the rain, the food, the breathing, or just today. But healthy love needs water and earth together. Why? Because water gives softness, empathy, tenderness, devotion, intimacy, feelings, while earth gives boundaries, reality, stability, limits, and form. Without water, the earth can become dry, rigid, controlled, or very defended. And without the earth, the water can become chaotic, flooded, unstable, merged, or totally lost. So this month, even while we enter the water, we do not abandon what earth taught us. We bring the earth with us because we need the ground to feel safely. We need boundaries to love honestly. We need the body to hold emotions. We need structure so that flow doesn't become drowning. And this is especially important when we speak about self love, because self love is not just liking ourselves. It's not about looking in the mirror and saying nice sentences, even if you can do that if you enjoy. But it's not always just soft and pretty. Self love can mean listening to the emotion that we usually silence. It can mean letting ourselves cry, or resting before we collapse, or saying no to something, asking for what we need. It can mean leaving a conversation if it becomes harmful. It can mean apologizing when we have caused harm. It can mean not abandoning ourselves for approval. It can mean choosing relationships where our heart doesn't have to live in constant defense. Self love is not selfishness, it is the foundation of honest relationship. Because if I'm completely disconnected from myself, I cannot truly meet you. I may attach to you, I may need you, I may fear losing you, I may perform love for you, I may try to control how you see me. But real connection requires that I'm still here, that I can feel you without disappearing, that I can love you without leaving myself. And this is a very deep teaching of water. Connection is not fusion. Love is not drowning. Empathy is not becoming responsible for everything another person is feeling. And compassion is not about absorbing everyone's pain until we become ill. Water needs flow, but it also needs clarity. A clean river is moving, alive, and responsive. A stagnant pond becomes heavy, while a flood destroys everything that it touches. And in our emotional life, we can ask, where am I frozen? Where am I stagnant? Where am I flooding? And where is it where I'm actually flowing? Frozen emotions can feel like numbness, distance, control, silence, or inability to feel. Stagnant emotion may feel like old resentment or heaviness, unspoken grief, or stories that we keep repeating but never actually digest. Flooded emotions can feel like overwhelm, panic, drama, urgency, or reacting before we have time to even just breathe. Flowing emotions feel different. It can still be intense, but it moves. It has a breath. It has truth inside. It has space. And it doesn't need to become a war. Yoga can help us with this, not by forcing emotions out of the body, not by hunting for trauma in every posture that we are doing, but by creating conditions where the body feels safe enough to soften and to listen. Slow movement, slow breathing, hip openings, heart openings, side bends, flowing sequences, rest, stillness, sounds, letting the spine move like water, letting the breath move like waves, letting the body express without needing to explain everything. And sometimes practice will bring us joy, sometimes it will bring us sadness, sometimes it will bring tenderness, sometimes irritation, and sometimes it will bring nothing special. And all of that is fine. The point is not to manufacture emotion, the point is to become available to what is true. Because water also teaches us about change. Water never remains fixed. It becomes rain, river, mist, snow, tears, oceans, blood, clouds. It adapts without losing its nature. And this is a powerful teaching for life. Many times we suffer because we try to keep a feeling, a relationship, an identity, or a season in one fixed form. But life moves, people change, bodies change, relationships change, even our needs change, our dreams change, and our healing is changing shape all the time. Water teaches us adaptability. But again, not adaptability in the sense of becoming shapeless for everyone else. True adaptability is not self abandonment, it's the capacity to remain connected to our essence while moving with reality. Like water entering a new path without ceasing to be water. So this month, in practice, we will explore what does it mean to soften without collapsing? What does it mean to feel without drowning? What does it mean to love without clinging? What does it mean to connect without losing ourselves? What does it mean to let emotions move through the body instead of imprisoning it or throwing it at others? What does it mean to trust flow while still respecting the form? This is going to be a very, very human month because emotions are where many of us struggle the most. Because we can understand the philosophy, we can make plans, we can know what is the right thing, but then the relationship touches us, love touches us, fear touches us, or a wound is open, a need appears, there is a silence that hurts, or a memory that is returning, and suddenly all our beautiful ideas have to become embodied. And it's so hard. And that is where practice matters. Not in theory, in the moment when the wave rises. Can I breathe? Can I feel my feet? Can I notice what's happening? Can I speak truth without attacking? Can I listen without abandoning myself? Can I soften without becoming weak? Can I stay connected to love even when the emotion is difficult? This is water in practice, and it's not always calm because sometimes water comes like tears. Sometimes it's cleansing. Sometimes it arrives as a storm. Sometimes it's just a river slowly carving the stone. Sometimes it's the first drop after a long drought. But always, water reminds us that life moves. Nothing inside us is as fixed as it feels when we are afraid. Even heavy emotions like grief, like anger, like numbness can move. Even love can learn a clearer shape. So as we enter to the month of water, I want you to begin simply. Notice your emotional weather. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it immediately. Just notice. What's the weather like today? Try to describe. Maybe it's clear, maybe it's heavy, maybe it feels frozen or stormy or restless or quiet or tender or deep. And then just ask, what would help this water to move in a healthy way? Maybe it's breathing, maybe it's movement, maybe it's crying, maybe it's rest, maybe it's a conversation, maybe silence, or writing, or forgiveness. Or it could be a boundary, or just asking for support. Maybe it's just giving yourself permission to not to understand everything just yet. And we begin here with listening, with softness, with honesty, with the courage to feel and the wisdom not to drown. Welcome to the month of water. Welcome to the emotional body. Welcome to flow, love, relationship, tenderness, and the inner rivers of being alive.